The ISHRS is the only hair transplant society in the world that devotes time and financial resources to combat the black market, which in our field refers to clinics around the world where technicians and not surgeons perform the procedure. Other societies sometimes talk about it or complain about it, but the ISHRS actually does things to try to fight this, which is a big problem, not just in Europe, and it's a problem right here in Ohio, right here in the United States, where doctors are delegating. Can you describe some of the initiatives of the ISHRS to combat the black market?
So a few years ago, the ISHRS set up a campaign called the Fight the Fight campaign, and it fights against illicit and fraudulent clinics. We want to call them clinics. Sometimes they're not even clinics, who are doing transplant surgeries. So sometimes there is a doctor there, but very often the doctor doesn't know how to do a transplant, and they hire in technicians. And technicians may have learned some of their techniques from a legitimate surgeon, but then they go and set up on their own. Now, it is illegal in the majority of countries in the world for an unlicensed person to cut through someone's skin. And that's what, I would consider surgery, is someone who's cutting through skin. Now, some of these clinics say, no cutting, no scars, no this, no that, no pain. You cannot do any surgical procedure without any of those things happening. So, if you hear those kind of words like scarless, painless, no downtime, unlimited amount of grafts. So what I mean by that is, you have a certain amount of donor hair that's available to be transferred to your balding areas. And that is limited for your lifetime. And you cannot have unlimited grafts. It's a falsehood. It's a way of getting patients to come in. And the other thing that they do is they use cut prices. So they decrease their prices to such an extent that it's undercutting what a legitimate surgeon needs to be able to run a clinic. So, for example, I need to give my staff a decent wage. I need to sterilize my instruments. I need to comply with local guidance. All of those things do cost money. I need to educate myself. That costs money. So, if you're going to someone legitimate, it's going to cost you money. And you get what you pay for. And that is true of anything in life. You get what you pay for. You want a cut price hair transplant, then you pay the cut price, but you will not get a hair transplant that is undetectable. So you should never be able to tell that someone has had a hair transplant if it is done correctly. If it's not done correctly, where the hair direction, the artistry, the design is wrong, then you will be able to tell that you've had a transplant. The other thing that happens is over-harvesting. So that's going back to the unlimited grafts. Now, if you take out every single hair from the back of your head, you're going to have a bald back of your head instead of a bald top. Now, if that's what you're aiming for, then that's great. But if it's not what you're aiming for, you want hair throughout your head, then please don't go to these clinics. Go to someone who's got the proper training, belongs to a society like the ISHRS that does ongoing training and has a license. So, technicians have to have a license as well.